My mother didn't even look up when she said it. Your promotion doesn't count. My father didn't hesitate either. You got lucky. Most people would defend themselves. I didn't. I let their words sit between us like they meant nothing, because the truth, I was waiting. Waiting for the one moment they couldn't twist, deny, or talk over. And that moment finally came. When they followed me into a building they thought they knew and stopped cold at the door they never expected to see, the one with my name on it. My name is Chloe, and for as long as I can remember, my family has treated my accomplishments like background noise. I grew up in a house where praise flowed easily toward my older sister, while anything I did was met with a shrug, a correction, or a reminder that I shouldn't get ahead of myself. It didn't matter if I brought home straight A's or worked twice as hard. My mother always had a way of flattening a moment. My father followed her lead sometimes without even realizing he was doing it. That was just the rhythm of our house, her voice deciding the value of things, his voice agreeing, and mine learning to stay small. Even now, at 32, those early patterns still echo. When I'd visit on weekends, my sister would talk about her new purchases, her problems, her plans, and my parents leaned in like she was the sun. The moment I mentioned work, they'd nod politely and pivot to something else. I used to think I imagined it, but over time, the pattern became too clear to ignore. They simply didn't believe I could ever be the successful one. It's strange how favoritism isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, like the way my mother would ask my sister if she needed help with her bills, but never asked me anything at all. Or how my father would brag about her job to neighbors, but stumble when someone asked what I did. He'd say something vague, like office work, as if that covered it. As if specifics didn't matter, because I didn't matter. I work as a manager at an organization in the city, leading a team that trusts me more than my own family ever has. But I never brought it up much at home. Talking about success in a place that believes you're incapable feels like pouring water into sand. It disappears before it lands. The Sunday before everything happened, we were all in the kitchen. My sister complained about overdue payments she needed help organizing. My mother turned to me with that tone she uses when she's pretending to be thoughtful. Maybe you can handle her paperwork, Chloe. You're not too busy, right? It wasn't a question. It was a certainty. In her mind, my work couldn't possibly matter. My father didn't look up from his coffee when he added, "She's got time. She always does." Maybe that was the moment something finally shifted inside me. I didn't argue. I didn't correct them. I simply nodded. And that quiet nod was the beginning of everything they never saw coming. I drove home that evening, replaying their voices in my head, each word hitting the same bruised place that had never fully healed. I had walked into that kitchen thinking maybe, just maybe, sharing my promotion would shift something. That after years of proving myself, they might finally see me differently. But when the moment came when I said I got promoted last week, it took my mother less than 3 seconds to cut it down. "Your promotion doesn't count," she said, wiping her hands as if she were brushing away crumbs. No curiosity, no congratulations, just a verdict. My father didn't even glance up. "You got lucky," he added, like he was commenting on the weather. My sister laughed softly, scrolling her phone. "Must be nice. Anyway, Chloe, when can you look at my bills? I need them sorted by Friday." The room kept moving, but I didn't. Something inside me tightened, not anger, not sadness, but a clarity I hadn't felt before. I realized, standing between the sink and the kitchen island, that nothing I ever said would matter to them. Words only gave them more opportunities to diminish me. So for the first time, I stopped giving them words. I just said, "I can look at your paperwork. Bring it to my office tomorrow." My mother raised an eyebrow. "Your office? Why there?" The disbelief in her voice wasn't subtle. "It'll be easier," I said. "More space." My father waved a hand. "Just print it at home or something. No need to act fancy." I didn't respond. That silence unsettled them more than any argument would have. On the drive back to my apartment, the city lights blurred against my windshield, and I thought about all the times I had tried to prove myself. All the achievements I tucked into conversations, hoping they would finally stick. All the quiet disappointments I swallowed when they didn't. And somewhere between stoplights, I understood something deeply. I wasn't the same girl who needed their approval. I had built a career, a life, and a confidence that didn't rely on their belief. They just didn't know it yet. When I walked into work the next morning, my team greeted me with the warmth I never received at home. Someone had left a small card on my desk. "Congratulations, Chloe. You earned every bit of this." I traced the letters with my thumb, feeling something steady inside me. This place saw me. This place respected me. Around noon, my sister texted, "We're coming at 3. Don't be late." Mom wants to stop by too. Of course she did. The moment she heard office, her curiosity kicked in. Not pride, just suspicion. I imagined her whispering, "Let's see what Chloe really does all day." I didn't correct the assumption. I spent the rest of the afternoon preparing not paperwork, not explanations, but space. Space for the truth to stand on its own. I didn't need to rehearse anything. The reveal wasn't something I had to perform. It was already there, waiting behind a glass door with my name on it. All I had to do was let them walk in. They arrived earlier than I expected. I saw them through the lobby glass while I was talking with one of our reception staff. My mother's posture was stiff, her lips pressed into a line as if the air inside the building were somehow beneath her. My father looked around at the lobby with mild confusion, like he wasn't sure where to stand. My sister walked a few steps ahead, clutching a folder stuffed with bills and payment notices she expected me to sort through like a personal assistant. When they spotted me, my sister waved. My mother frowned slightly, taking in the clean marble floors and the steady stream of professionals moving around us. "This is where you work?" she asked. I nodded. "Follow me." I didn't explain further. I didn't justify. Silence had become my strategy, and I let it settle between us like a thin layer of frost. We walked toward the elevators. My sister leaned in. "So, what exactly do you do here?" Her tone held that familiar blend of curiosity and disbelief, the same tone she used when asking a child if they really tied their own shoes. "I manage a team," I said simply. My mother scoffed a soft breath through her nose. "Manage what papers?" I pressed the elevator button. Something like that. The elevator doors opened and they stepped inside, expecting me to hit a button somewhere near the middle floors where temporary staff or small departments usually sat. Instead, I pressed one of the highest floors. My mother's eyes flicked to my hand, then to the glowing number. "Why are we going up so high?" she asked. My father shifted beside her. "Isn't this the executive level?" I didn't answer. I let the silence stretch again, this time pulling the tension tighter. The elevator hummed upward. My sister let out a nervous chuckle. "You're not, giving us a tour, right? We just need help with the paperwork." "We'll get to it," I said. The elevator doors opened to a quieter hallway, carpeted calm with glass offices lining both sides. The energy here felt different, focused, controlled. People passing by nodded at me in recognition. "Good afternoon, Chloe," someone said as they went by. My mother blinked. They know you." I started walking. "This way." My heels made soft sounds on the carpet, the kind of quiet confidence my parents had never associated with me. They followed footsteps uneven behind me. We approached the far end of the hall, where a single frosted glass office stood slightly separated from the rest. My sister slowed down. "Whose office is that?" she whispered. I reached for the door handle, but before I opened it, I stepped aside. Their eyes lifted to the black and gold plaque mounted on the glass. "Chloe Manager." The name hung there, visible, undeniable. My mother froze. My father inhaled sharply. My sister's mouth fell open as if she were trying to form a sentence but couldn't decide where to start. I watched the realization settle in. All the times they dismissed me. All the years they treated my work like a hobby. All the casual sentences meant to shrink me. Every bit of it reflected in the way they stared at that door at my door. I finally spoke, voice calm and steady. "You said homework? You said I wasn't busy. You said my promotion didn't count." I ran my fingers lightly along the edge of the plaque. "But this is where I work. This is what you never wanted to see." No one spoke for several seconds. The moment had its own weight pressing down on the hallway. I pushed the door open. "Come in. Let's handle your paperwork." The moment they stepped inside my office, the air changed. It wasn't loud, but I felt it like the shift in a room right before a storm breaks. My mother walked in first, clutching her purse as if the leather itself could anchor her. My father followed, looking around slowly, absorbing every detail, the large window overlooking the city. the framed certificates on the wall, the clean desk arranged with purpose, the soft hum of my monitor, the quiet luxury they never imagined belonged to me. My sister lingered by the door, her eyes darting between the room and the hallway, as if she needed proof this wasn't a shared workspace or some borrowed meeting room. She kept opening her mouth and closing it again like she was testing different ways to react, but none of them matched what she was seeing. I walked behind my desk and sat down the leather chair, adjusting slightly to my weight. It was a small, ordinary movement, but for them, it was a disruption of an entire lifetime of assumptions. My mother glanced at the chair, then at me, then at the plaque on the door again. Her confusion mixed with something sharper, something brittle pride that arrived too late, shame she wasn't ready to name, and disbelief she couldn't mask. My father cleared his throat. "So, this is really your office?" "It is," I said. "And you're—" He gestured vaguely, as if the title on the plaque had been a suggestion rather than a fact. "A manager." "I told you." "You didn't say this kind of manager," my sister muttered, finally stepping fully inside. Her fingers reached out and touched the corner of my desk as if she needed a physical confirmation. "You never asked?" I replied. My mother's lips tightened. "Well, you didn't exactly explain it. You always keep things vague." Anyone would think I lifted a hand slightly the smallest interruption, but it stopped her. "I kept things vague," I said, "because when I tried to share details, you brushed them aside. All of you did." Silence dropped over the room. Even the hallway outside felt muted. My father shifted. "We just didn't want you to get too hopeful," I finished. "Ambitious, proud." I shook my head. "You didn't want me to believe in myself." "Because you didn't believe in me." My mother bristled. "That's not fair. We just know how the world works. Some people have talent and some people get lucky," I asked. Her jaw tightened. My sister, finally sensing the weight of the moment, set her folder of bills on the table gently, as if loud movement would break something fragile. I leaned forward slightly. "You wanted to see what I actually do right. You wanted me to help with your paperwork because you assumed I sit in a cubicle with nothing important to handle." "That's not what we said," my mother snapped quickly. "No," I replied. "You didn't have to say it. You implied it your entire lives." My father stared at the certificates behind me, leadership courses, project awards, my degree, like they were artifacts belonging to someone else. "I didn't know you had all this." "You never asked," I repeated. "You assumed you already knew everything worth knowing about me." My mother crossed her arms. "Okay, fine. You have an office, a nice one. But that doesn't mean my promotion counts," I asked quietly. Her throat bobbed. She looked like she wanted to argue but couldn't find the word that wouldn't make her sound wrong. And that, perhaps more than anything, was the real shift happening in this room. For once, their words weren't enough to rewrite reality. I turned to my sister. "Open your folder." She hesitated, then sat opposite my desk, spreading the papers carefully. Bills, payment notices, overdue fees. She looked smaller suddenly, not the favored daughter basking in attention, but a woman who had let entitlement blind her. "I didn't know you worked like this," she whispered. "You didn't care to," I said gently. Caring would have meant seeing me clearly. My father exhaled slowly, as if deflating. "We didn't mean to hurt you." "You did?" I answered. "But I'm not here to make you apologize. I'm here to show you who I am now, and to stop letting your opinions decide anything about my life." My mother looked around the room again, the skepticism fading into something softer, quieter. I didn't think..." She trailed off, unable to finish the confession. I didn't fill in the blanks for her. It was enough that she finally ran out of explanations. While I sorted the paperwork, they watched me, not with superiority, not with impatience, but with recognition. Real recognition. The kind they had given my sister freely but never thought to extend to me. My mother opened her mouth more than once, as if she wanted to say something meaningful, but each time the words dissolved. My father sat straighter, as if trying to reconcile the daughter he had underestimated with the woman in front of him. My sister kept stealing glances at my office door, almost embarrassed by her own assumptions. When I finished organizing the documents, I set them aside and met their eyes one by one. "I'll help you this time," I said. "But I'm not your afterthought anymore, and I won't be treated like I'm less." My mother looked down at her hands. My father nodded slowly. My sister swallowed hard. They understood. But the real shift wasn't in them. It was in me. For the first time, I felt the ground beneath my own feet, steady, solid mine. I stood, walked to the door, and held it open. "Come on, I'll walk you out." They moved quietly, almost reverently, stepping past the plaque with my name on it, as if seeing it again might change them a little more. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. But that wasn't my burden anymore. At the elevator, my mother finally spoke. "Chloe, why didn't you ever tell us all this?" I looked at her. "Because you never listened when I tried." The doors opened with a soft chime. They stepped inside, still carrying the weight of their realization. I stood in the hallway watching the doors close between us, not as a barrier, but as a separation I had needed for years. And when the elevator descended, I walked back to my office, my name waiting for me exactly where it belonged. When I returned to my office, the late afternoon light had shifted, turning the room a soft gold. It felt quieter than before, not empty but settled, like something heavy had finally been put down. I sat at my desk for a moment, letting the silence stretch. For years, I'd imagined what it would feel like to finally be seen by my own family. I thought it would be triumphant, loud, explosive, but instead it felt peaceful. My phone buzzed. A message from my sister, "Thanks for helping," and "I'm sorry we didn't know." I typed back, "You could have known. You never asked." Then I set the phone aside. A few minutes later, my father texted as well, short, clumsy, but honest. "We were wrong about you. Proud of you, Chloe. It wasn't perfect, but it was real." My mother didn't text. I wasn't surprised. She wasn't the kind of person who apologized through a screen. If anything, she would sit with her thoughts for days, maybe weeks, before deciding what to say. And for once, I wasn't waiting for her. Before leaving for the day, I organized the last of the paperwork I'd promised to help with. I did it efficiently, without resentment. Helping them wasn't the issue, it never had been. The issue was being treated like I had nothing to offer. Now they knew better. As I turned off the lights and stepped into the hallway, I felt lighter. Not because they had changed, but because I finally had. I walked out of the building that evening with the city humming softly around me, the sky turning a deep blue. For the first time, I wasn't carrying their doubts with me. My life, my work, my worth, they weren't up for debate anymore. Sometimes you don't win by shouting or proving anything. Sometimes you win by letting people walk straight into the truth they never bothered to see. And if you've ever been underestimated by the people who should have known you best, you're not alone. Share your story below and don't forget to subscribe for the next one.